Morning, everyone. I am pleased to call to order the June 20th, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. Note the presence of all three commissioners, and I'm going to ask Mr. Frank Custer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I just want to take a quick moment to note that for the first time yesterday, Montgomery County raised a pride flag here in the county across the street on our flagpole to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. And it was really a wonderful event. We were joined by a number of individuals, most importantly of which was our Pennsylvania Secretary of Health, Dr. Rachel Levine, who is one of the highest-ranking transgender officials in the United States. So it was a real honor to have her with us, and we heard from some other community members as well. So I urge everyone to take a look when you go outside. And I also want to thank Mr. Corcoran, who took the entire event and edited it down to about an 11-minute video, which is terrific, that gives some of the highlights of the event. So if you're interested in watching it, that is available on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, on our Facebook page. So. And thanks to everyone who helped pull that event together. Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Your Way Home, who had their annual summit 2 weeks ago now. I've heard a lot of great feedback from all the agencies and such that were there. And our chair represented us at the Susie Clemens groundbreaking last Friday, so that's underway. And I want to commend Ms. Doris. Last week I went to the swearing in of the Norristown Chaplains Unit, and Ms. Doris, of course, was there and is a chaplain for the Norristown Police Department. So congratulations to you. Thanks for your service.
Terrific. Okay. All right, with that, we will move on to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the June 6, 2019 minutes of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lawrence. Any board comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, I'd like to invite Dr. Kevin Pollock, president of our Montgomery County Community College, to the podium. Here to give us a little update on what's happening at the college.
Being schooled on how to advance things. Thank you for having me today. I just want to give a brief update on the college. I want to recognize the work of the three commissioners. Thank you all for your support of the college. It's critical and it's extremely valued by all of us. We are uniquely poised to assess higher education, train the workforce, and reduce the student debt. And we're going to show you a little bit of that as I go through today. On top of that, I want to make note of originally quickly that we have frozen tuition and fees for the third year in a row thanks to your support. The college overview, just a little bit of information on us. We were founded in the 1960s on the basics of the Pennsylvania Community College Act. We have 3 locations, including a virtual campus. We're very fortunate to be supported by the tax that is there, the millage that was there. Again, it helps us go through what we do. We have 50 areas of study. We are accredited by the Middle States Commission, which allows us to provide financial aid and transfer credits. That's a critical part of the accreditation process. We are supported, again, by the county, the state, and tuition dollars that are there. We're governed by a 15-member board. One of the things I do want to recognize is the fact for the third year in a row, we've been one of only 18 community colleges in the country recognized as a leader college by achieving the dream. So we're accomplishing amazing things at the college. Some fast facts. We always are asked what's the enrollment, what are things like there. We had 19,745 different students that came through our doors last year. We have 34 transfer partners, which means we are working hand in hand with at least 34 schools that we have official transfer agreements with, although we can transfer our credits to any higher education institution in the country. Our average class size is very low at 15. People want to know what are the biggest degrees. It's liberal studies, business administration, and then nursing. This past year, we had over 1,400 graduates, with about 600 of them that walked across the stage, and we thank the commissioners that were able to come and be there. People ask about our faculty. Our faculty are outstanding faculty members, and over a third of them actually have a doctoral degree. What about our students? The average age is 24. So our non-traditional students really cover a large number of the people that we have. With that non-traditional, that would be students that don't fall into traditional age ranges of 18 to 22. So we serve the entire community. This past year, our youngest student was 16, our oldest was 69. So we really cover a wide gamut. Most of our students are working while they are there. Our part-time student population has risen significantly because of the fact that they're employed. Traditionally, you have about 50% part-time and 50% full-time. We're at about 75% part-time right now. So that is really a good indication of the county and the employability of that. Many of our students have children. So we have daycare on the campus, but when we ask how many are you working, how many have children home, at graduation ceremonies, large numbers of hands go up. So we have a very diverse population. We really focus on student success, and we call it a holistic approach. We want to make sure our students are covered in every way possible. Equity is an important issue for us, as well as diversity. And equity in our case can mean many things. It could mean food equity, it could mean transportation questions, it could be a variety of things that our county residents face day to day. So we want to make sure our support covers a lot of those areas. So we have advising, career services. Our tutoring services are unique into the country. We were one of the first to pilot a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week online tutoring program. And last year we had hundreds of, several thousand students actually utilize the program. It was able to allow us to do things that we could not do just with our traditional tutoring model. For example, in the fall of last year, we had 1,100 students turn in papers to be read and checked before they turned them in for their classes to be proofread. All those were turned around within 12 hours. We could never do that in our regular services. So it's a wonderful service. We have veterans, child care, as I mentioned, a food pantry, the veteran services. We serve over 400 veterans on our campus with an award-winning veteran program. Outreach and assistance programs, our dual enrollment this past year, we had over 1,400 dual enrolled students. Dual enrolled students are students that are taking classes with us while they are still in high school. It allows them to jump forward in their higher education model. So they're able to pick up credits that are transferable or go into our programs while they're still in high school. And we actually have students sometimes that complete their 2-year degree before they leave the school, high school. We work with industries, and the easiest way for us to describe it is maybe put them into clusters for you. Now we go across the gamut of everything, but in our case we try to make sure that we cover all these different spots. Our workforce development area really looks at specific areas as they go through these. But we have business and education. Liberal studies is probably our largest area because of students that are transferring to the 4-year degree. Our allied health programs are significant, and we opened our $35 million allied health expansion just so recently, and that has been a huge piece for us. Nursing obviously is a large program for us, but again, it gives you an idea of the gamut of programs that we do offer. Our workforce development area, we're actually changing it from workforce development to workforce solutions, because we really feel it's more of an idea of really what we're accomplishing, and we want to have solutions for the area in the county. So we're focusing now on more in-demand careers. We're industry-driven. We have libraries that are both of our campuses that students can utilize to help with the workforce area. When we look at data for our workforce, we pull our data when we talk about industry-driven and how do we decide what programs we want. We pull it from a variety of sources to see what are the in-demand jobs. EMSI, for example, is a company, and we had an independent economic study of the college to show what we're doing with that type of workforce. Our career pathways, our apprenticeships, we have fast track to employment. We go out into the businesses, we have the businesses come to us, and we do individualized training as well. So we are across and we are growing this. We really just put the major emphasis in this area about 2 years ago. So we're really focused on the job readiness of the county. These are some of the areas that have risen to the top of our field as far as on-the-job readiness. Biotechnology, the nursing assistants, the machinery, the technology pieces that are there. Our culinary arts and baking on our culinary school is one of the largest growing areas, believe it or not, in the county, is hospitality. And so we're making sure that we're trying to satisfy those needs. Farm Tech, our police academy, our sound recording studio and music technology program is growing. We have over 100 students in it now. So again, it's one of the fastest growing areas for us. But we want to make sure that these types of programs are also something that people can go out and get a job right away in. And we have the data to back those types of things. So we're a community resource. You can see a lot of the things that we have in the community that we do. On top of just teaching classes, the art galleries, The art gallery programs, we actually had Rembrandt pieces in there a year ago. So we were going to make sure that we have people come and see those. We're a center for entrepreneurial studies. We have facility rentals for the community all the time. The mixed room, we have an observatory on the campus. A lot of people don't even realize we have that as well. Performing arts, we'd love to have you all come visit performing arts. Everything to the dental clinic, where we do sealants for children in the local area, both in Pottstown and here in the local Blue Bell area. So we do an awful lot. Summer camps, you may see a lot of that now. We have sports camps with the Phillies and the 76ers. We have computer camps and a variety of other things for students to be able to utilize our facilities over the course of the summer. Just a little bit about the investment. We did an independent study, again, and we have data that shows that for every dollar that's invested into our school, the region receives about $4.70 in return. So we are a great investment when you look at what is happening on our campus. We support about 9,100 jobs when our students are out there working, and the jobs that we have on the campus itself, and the assistance that we do into the community. Our total regional impact is estimated at around $700 million. We're a significant force in the community. So we're very proud of that work and the community work that we do. With that in mind, I'd like to show you a commercial that we put out this year. I think that will really show you a little bit better who we are as we talk about our Montco momentum.
Your potential is waiting. Your future is standing by. Your momentum is ready to be set in motion. All you have to do is take the first step. 3 locations, a virtual campus, dedicated faculty, and 50 areas of study. Montgomery County Community College. Apply today and make your own momentum.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you today. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pollack. That was a really great summary. I've been so pleased to see how the college has grown over the last several years and what an important institution it is here in our community. As we have talked about, the county is a net importer of workers every single day, and having the right workforce here in the county available to these businesses is absolutely critical to the future economic development of this county. So we're very, very pleased to see this deliberate and explicit focus on what jobs are actually needed here locally and in our region. And I was also very pleased to learn that you were able to continue the threes on tuition for a 3rd year for this upcoming academic year. The county did make a very difficult decision to invest explicitly in the community college a couple of years ago. And we did that for a couple of reasons, but the primary one was to give the college the ability to have some certainty about the amount of income that would be coming from the county every year, and it has certainly done that. And secondarily, as property taxes increase in value in our county, and a lot of that happens because of the business community and the growth here, everyone's aligned, everyone's incentives are in line. So as the community college works to make sure we have the right workforce, that will attract businesses, that will help our property values grow, and that will mean that the community college receives a little bit more money each year in property tax. So I think it's a very positive, reinforcing effort, one that's critical to the future of our county. And I just want to thank you so much for this quick update, and look forward to hearing more as we go forward.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's appreciated.
Okay.
I'll echo all of that, but also I want to commend the college for their community outreach. I think there was one week where I was there 3 times, and it wasn't for the college, it was because Oklahoma was there, MS had their walk there, and then I think the senior games were there as well. But it seems that the college has really done a good job of reaching out to nonprofit groups and community organizations to bring them in, get people on the campus, but promote valuable causes as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today, Dr. Pollack.
Much appreciated. Thank you all.
I just had a quick question.
Maybe not.
Recently attended a career fair, job fair at the college.
Yes.
I thought it was very well attended, and I want to thank you for hosting that.
Oh,
I thought it came off great. And you probably heard me talk a dozen times about how Montgomery County leads the Commonwealth and Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs. Yes. Can you just touch on some of the ongoing events with the apprenticeship programs for building trades and things like that, so people are prepared for manufacturing jobs?
Right, that's one of the areas that we're trying to expand at this point. During the course of the last 20, 25 years, equipment that we utilized in the past is going out. So we're updating our equipment. We are reaching out to the industry clusters to see what we can do to work with them. CNC machining, for example, we're not going to probably do too much right away, but we are working with apprenticeship programs that are out there, the unions that are out there in the large areas. And again, our workforce development area, which is actually located physically in Pottstown, covers the entire county. So we are looking at expanding those needs and working with those groups.
And you mentioned the uptick in the tourism and hospitality sector.
Yes.
Do you find that mostly in the culinary arts, or?
Actually, it's a little of everything. It's actually the hotel managements, the other types of things that we can utilize. The culinary arts is our linchpin, but we actually have the opportunity for people to do hospitality as a whole. And we get a lot of our culinary students that want to have a business degree because they want to go out into the workforce, or they want to tie that to the hospitality piece as well. So it's working with the hotels, working with Valley Forge to make sure that we're really covering those needs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr.
you.
Pollack. I'm going to invite the current board chair up to the podium, Mr. Frank Custer. I understand that we have a very special guest here today, Mr. Richard Montalbano, who's the former community college board chair, and after many years of just incredible service, is finally stepping off the board, which we're very, very sad. I actually didn't answer his email telling me he was stepping off the board for at least 2 weeks because I really didn't want to answer it. So we are really happy to have you here today, and I know Mr. Custer wanted to share some thoughts.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, Rich is an institution, not just with the college, but with Montgomery County as a whole. He has done everything, just about, as your proclamation will attest. I've been on the board for 2.5 years now, and he's been my model for being a board member. And when he decided to step down, I looked around the room and I said, well, that person might be able to take his place, and that person might be able to take his place. And then all of a sudden, within a week or so, I took his place, and not something I was planning on, but in the 4 or 5 months that I've been the chair now, every day and every time I get a call and every time I have an issue to deal with, it's WWRD, what would Rich do? So he has been, as many of you know, has been a major force when he worked at Abington Hospital and later at Einstein. But he's been on the board of trustees for 15 years, and the growth that you talked about at the college, much of that is a credit to him. His vision, his amount of work that he put in and time he put in, and there was a lot of over the last 10 years. There's been a lot of construction at the college, and his background in construction has been just immeasurable. And he has meant so much to the school, and I'm really sorry to see him go. He has promised to be available if I have any questions or need help. We'll see how that works out, because I think he's going to do some traveling and things like that. But I commend you for recognizing him today, and I think everybody in Montgomery County ought to applaud what he has given this county. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Custer. Mr. Montalbano, would you like to step up? We'll have you come up for a moment here to give you this, but if you want to say any remarks, you're welcome to. But I just want to personally thank you and publicly thank you for your incredible service on the board. You took over as chair of the board during a time of substantial transition on the community college board. It was a very critical time at the school, and I will always be so grateful for the professionalism and the commitment that you have given to the school. I know you put the school number one before your personal life, before travel, before lots of other things for a period of time, and it was so important to the school that happened, and I'm, as I said, will always be grateful for that. So, any other comments?
Rich, thank you for your service. You haven't responded to my response to your email saying what board do you want to serve on now. So now I understand you're going to be traveling a little bit, but you've done a wonderful job. I know you've devoted countless hours to the college. I'm watching the transition now too of Mr. Custer actually wearing a jacket. We couldn't get a tie on him, but a jacket. But you're not wearing a jacket, so this is good. This is the first time I've seen you without one. But Godspeed. You've earned this. Thank you for all you've done.
Rich, I too would like to thank you for your 15 years of service in Montgomery County. That's quite a long time, and I know you're very passionate about that. I remember the first meeting I had with you when I started my term as commissioner, and the insight and the wealth of knowledge you brought to the table is difficult to replace. And again, I could see the passion, seeing you at all the events at the college and your address at the graduation ceremonies, and you're a great asset to the county. So I wish you the best in your next chapter.
Any comments you'd like to share?
I guess, yes. Just a couple of things. When we started to talk, when Frank said what I've done in the county, it had dawned on me that in my professional life, as you know, I was the vice president at Abington for some years, for 17 years, and another 13 at Einstein. In that capacity, as I look back, I was responsible for over $1 billion worth of hospital construction in the county, which I actually never thought of until this moment. I just want to say again, something that probably you've heard me say before, is I came on the board of Montgomery County College for all the wrong reasons. A former commissioner asked me in my role of government relations at Abington Hospital if I would come on the board, and I thought it would be a good community service and outreach for Abington Hospital. I did it for the reasons for Abington Hospital. And then I started to meet the students. I started to go to the graduations. I started to go to the individual graduations, whether it was the Power graduation, the programs that we had for veterans. And what I realized is that this community college is all about opportunity. It's about hope and opportunity. We serve such a diverse body of students, whether it is the gifted high school student that wants to take early college courses through the dual enrollment program, or whether it's that person in life that needs the first chance, the second chance, the third chance. We are there for them. And that is, I think, the most important thing to me, is that this is a college that the county can be very proud of, because it can take whatever you need and turn it into opportunity. And that, to me, is the promise of the county. It's the promise of the college. And I was privileged to be a part of all of that. And I thank you for that opportunity. My momentum is retirement now. But again, thank you very much for that opportunity.
Thank you, Rich. Well said. And we'd love to have you come up to receive a letter of commendation. Frank, Dr. Powell, do you want to come in?
Oh, I forgot my jacket.
Do you want your jacket?
No.
Okay. I think you're good. There's scoot in right here. Pretty good? Yeah. All right, great.
One more. We're good.
All right.
Can I take my jacket off?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, well, maybe we'll run into each other somewhere.
Thank you again, John. My pleasure.
I'm sorry. All right. Next, Mr. Deltone with our first quarter financial update.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So I am going to give you an update on the Q1 financial results for the county for 2019. However, before I do that, just want to give you a quick update on the issuance of the 2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, or the CAFR. As you know, we've been through these numbers in a couple recent presentations. As you see up here, the county did finish 2018 with better than expected results. Revenues over expense were about $5.4 million. The board took an action at a meeting, prior meeting, to designate $1.6 million of the fund balance reserve that will be specifically assigned to future pension costs. That'll be reflected in the CAFR, and we're anticipating that the issuance of the CAFR will be next Friday. That's our target date. Once it's issued, it'll be available on the county website. We'll also have our budget tool updated with the 2018 detailed financial results by department so that other users on the outside or even internally can drill down and get all the data. As it stands today, that information has been out there. It's on a preliminary basis, and those numbers haven't changed much. So what we will update them as audited numbers. And when I finish this presentation, we'll do the same thing for the Q1 financial results to date.
And
which are
Mr. Jotone,
unaudited.
just to interrupt for a second, where on the website would a member of the public find all this data?
So if they go to the finance department, there's a direct link to the budget tool that will take them right to the data. It's pretty easy to use, lots of graphical presentation of information. The user has the ability to sort the information, drill down on it, either by revenue or expenditure.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any questions on the CAFR? Okay. So let me turn to where we are with the first quarter 2019. Obviously, these are unaudited numbers. However, the Controller's Office has closed the quarter. And as it stands, it's looking pretty much where we would expect it to be. I will say there are some things I'm going to talk about that are knowns at this point that will impact us. They may not be in these numbers at the moment, but you should know about them. So first quarter, the first 3 months, it's pretty light activity, mostly on the expense side. It would be what you would expect, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We've spent around 21% of the budget, took in about 21% of the revenue, and we'll go into a little more detail of how that came in and how it went out. So as you can imagine, half of our budget's made up of, the general fund budget is made up of real estate tax revenue. Bills typically go out through the tax collectors in the month of February. They're staggered depending on the municipality and the tax collector, but they hit the streets typically in February, and collections begin immediately and are remitted. So what you're seeing here is just the beginning of the real estate tax season that hits in the first quarter. But overall revenues, we took in about 53% of the revenue came from real estate taxes. The second largest category, obviously, grant revenue, represented 37%. So the grant revenue in the first quarter was coming in as expected, and it typically does. Turning to the real estate tax collection, we're typically on the mark with this when you look back in historical years, and we've collected about $47 million or 23% of the budget overall. You can see the breakdown of the categories. Most of it is the current year taxes, and as I said, that's about 23% overall. The community college portion was about $5.3 million at the end of the quarter, and we typically remit that to the community college after we close and reconcile the months. So that's being remitted as it comes in. Turning to the real estate market a bit and our assessment base. As you know, our historical growth, and we track this closely as we go through the year, has been about a half a percent annually. Looking at the current numbers, and this comes from the Board of Assessment Office, for the first 3 months, the assessment base grew by 0.34%. This is a positive trend. If you look at the same time period last year, the growth was about 0.18%, and I think we finished just under 0.5% for 2018. So we'll continue to monitor this. When I do my next update, which will likely be in later July, we'll have a little more data and let you know where things stand. But this is a 5-month number. It's actually through May, not the first 3 months. Last year I presented this chart. This is updated information. These are key metrics, and this is put together by Berkshire Hathaway. That's where we get this data. They track this throughout the region, and you can see in the blue boxes, that's Montgomery County's metrics versus the 5-county region. You see a lot of green arrows. It's positive. Those are the trends for the county as of May 2019 compared to May 2018. So it's a snapshot in time. The only cumulative number there is number of properties sold. That's a 5-month number for the county. You can see that is down I think that there's probably some factors that come into play here why it is a snapshot in time, but we'll continue to monitor. Overall, though, the trend has been for the first 5 months compared to this time last year, we're down by about 8%. Just looking at Montgomery County, snapshot of us. So as I said, total number of properties sold down 8%. However, when you look at the median price of properties sold, up by about 5%, which is a good trend. Average days on the market, that's increased. That could be due to a number of factors, and we'll continue to see how that plays out. But when we compared it to last year, it was about 44 days versus 52 this year. Average inventory, you can see that is down, and that could be a contributing factor. It's down by 9% when we're looking at May. So some other revenue points. As you know, in the last 2 years or so, the county signed an agreement with Bucks County Correctional Facility. And at that time, Bucks County didn't have any space. They were maxed out for their female population. So they had since then been housing female inmates out at our prison. And the capacity was available at Montgomery County's correctional facility and still is. However, that need has slowly declined, and actually at this point, Bucks County does have capacity to house the current population of female inmates. So we had in the budget projected about $1 million of revenue from this agreement with Bucks County. Currently, we're projecting a shortfall here, and it's probably going to be in the range of $600,000 for 2019. If if this contract doesn't commence again, it would be about $1 million gap in the budget for 2020. However, that's not to say that they couldn't come back to us at the current moment. They're able to house the female inmate population that they have, and we'll continue to monitor this and report out to the board. Investment income, doing very well. We put the budget together back, in September, October when we locked it down. Short-term rates have improved since then. So we're expecting better performance in investment income now. There's recent news that, the Feds may reduce the short-term interest rates, and that could happen by the end of the year. Obviously, that would impact us for our short-term liquid funds. Likely would have an immediate impact, just like last year when it had an immediate positive impact. So we'll continue to look at that. However, I would say that the Treasurer's Office is pretty well invested with our short-term liquid funds, and it should turn out pretty well this year on the investment income revenue line item. We did get our first quarter of the gaming revenue from the Commonwealth, which was a new revenue in the budget last year, and quarter to quarter, that's up 12%. Positive trend. This is about a $2 million revenue category. A portion of it is pass-through revenue to 3 not-for-profits. However, seeing that it was up 12% for the first quarter, I would think that as we go through this year, without any major changes to the economy, we should see better growth in this revenue category. Turning to expenses, as I said, expenses are pretty much in line with the budget. We spent about $89 million. You can see that 46% of it is for personnel costs. That's across the board. That includes all of our health care benefits, pension contributions on the county side, and our debt service. So we spent about $41 million, or 22% of the personnel expense budget. This is typical for this time of the year. I'm happy to see that it's a little bit lower than what you would expect if you prorated the budget. We do build in turnover in positions, savings from that, and other things. So I think that we're pretty much on track after the first quarter. We did transfer $2.3 million, or 25% of the county's pension contribution into the plan in the first quarter, and we plan to continue to do the same thing as each quarter goes by. It'll be prorated and provided to the plan before year end. Debt service, we paid down about 13 million or 27% of the overall budget, which is around 47 million in the general fund. And that's obviously based on, required payments and due dates. We did complete a refinancing earlier this year, which produced an overall result of about $5 million of future budgetary savings. So this was a great opportunity for us that wasn't necessarily anticipated until we began doing the planning for the new money bond issue. This will be helpful this year too. Part of that savings, almost 200,000, will be realized in this year's budget, and then the remaining portion is prorated out over the next 20 years as budgetary savings. Overtime budget expense, we're about, on an actual basis, almost at 25% of the budget through March. That's for the entire organization. Some of the larger departments are the ones that we're keeping a closer eye on, and when I do my next report, I'll probably have more information about where we see that going and our turnover rates and so forth. So, turning to the outlook, cautiously optimistic in the short term. I said that last year. Feel the same way now. I think that there are some pressures for a slowdown in the economy. We listen to the professionals out there, the economists. There's obviously pressure on the short-term interest rates. Mortgage rates have come down a bit, which should help with some of the transactional home sale type of stuff and refinancing. And we'll see how that translates in the Recorder of Deeds office in the months ahead here. But we continue to be watching what's going on and making sure that we're properly planning for the future. Political uncertainty at the federal and state levels. We have not heard the final outcome yet on the state budget, and there are some pressure points that we know we need to be aware of as either budget is being considered or approved. In recent years, there were topics that have come up that could impact our grant revenues and our service levels, and we continue to monitor those. So quickly, I just wanted to give you an update on where we are. We're at that time of the year now that we're going to go into the budget planning process. This takes up the summer months for the senior management team and the departments in terms of preparing ourselves to come back and speak with the board in September and October on a preliminary basis before we get into the formal budget process and actually put out the proposed budget. Currently, the target date is that the proposed budget would be released and presented to the Board of Commissioners on November 21st, and then we'll carry forward with the normal budget process, public hearings, and then formal adoption in December. So I'll continue to give you updates as we go through these meetings in the summer months. They're going to take up some time, and we're looking forward to meeting with the departments this year. Any questions?
Thank you. Looks great. I know one of the things that you didn't mention is that you're actually submitting our CAFR for the accreditation or award that
Yes.
can be given. And Mr. Darton sent me the, 40-page checklist that is required to go with this document. So I just want people to understand this is not something that we're required to do, to issue a comprehensive annual financial report at the level of detail that the CAFR actually provides for the public. We're doing this voluntarily because we know how important it is to provide this level of transparency to our constituents, and I really would urge people to go online and take a look at it. And by seeking a formal accreditation of this process, that gives us external validation that we are doing this process well. So I know we won't hear about that for quite a while, probably not till the end of the year or early next year. But I certainly hope we get it. And I want to thank, Dean, you and your team for the tremendous amount of work that it takes to put this document together. And I really do hope that the public makes good use of it. People often have questions about our budget, how we spend our money, where the revenue comes from. And every one of those questions can be answered pretty easily by just spending a few minutes online. And if you can't find an answer to a question, just reach out and we'll be happy to get it for you.
Yeah, I would just note, we work real close with the Controller's Office and the external auditors in putting this document together. So it's a major effort, and the this will be our third year that we've issued a CAFR, and we are hopeful that the Government Finance Officers Association, through their accreditation program, will consider us this year, and hopefully we get it.
Just a quick question, Dean. The one slide, it said how we paid down 27% of debt service, and then the prior slide with the pie chart had 14%. Was that for quarter one?
Yeah, the
11%.
pie chart was what the actual debt service expense represented of the overall expense that was paid out, all expenses, and then the slide, the bullet point is saying what percentage of the actual debt service budget was paid down by the end of the quarter.
For quarter one?
Yes.
Okay. And then over the summer months, if you could just keep us updated with your conversations with the staff at the correctional facility and how the Bucks County relationship will impact the employee staffing there, and how many were dedicated to those inmates that came from Bucks County. If you could just keep us updated as that transitions, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I would just say that number of inmates is a small number, probably to 12 to 25 inmates overall,
Okay.
varying at different points. So it's not a large number, although it may seem like it when you look at the revenue number, but, we're talking about 365 days a year of having, one person there, so. But, yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Holton?
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. You might recall in 2018, we made several grant awards from the Montco 2040 Implementation Grant Program. One of those awards was to Lower Moreland Township in the amount of $97,250. And the award was for the purpose of a 5-foot wide sidewalk being constructed along Philmont Avenue between Ann and Huntington Pike, or close to Huntington Pike in Lower Moreland Township. The township has requested a change in the scope, so an amendment to their contract that would not change the value of the grant award, so it'd be the same amount of funding. And they'd like to switch the improvement to be on the other side of Philmont Avenue. So this requires a grant amendment, and therefore your authorization to execute that amendment. They want to switch it from a 5-foot wide sidewalk to a portion of a 12-foot wide trail that is part of the Philmont Avenue Greenway feasibility study that was conducted in 2009 by the township. So this would help them further the alignment of that trail. It would provide a similar pedestrian connection as the sidewalk did, and would include a mid-block crossing of Philmont Avenue to add for accessibility on both sides of the street. So you'd have access and a pedestrian connection to the school area that you can see a little bit of the bottom of in this diagram or the map here. You can see some of the fields there, which was one of their goals, was to connect to the school. It also has the benefit of connecting directly to the Beth Ayres train station and leveraging some improvements that are being made by a developer who is reinvesting and developing some of the industrial property that you see on the bottom of the aerial there. So a portion of that 12-foot wide trail is actually being constructed by a developer. In addition, it'll connect to the Beth Ayres train station, which is in the bottom of the screen here, and that'll be combined with another grant that the township has received to improve access and sidewalk, as well as signal improvements at Chestnut Street to the station. So they received a multimodal fund grant award in the last year or so. So they're combining a lot of different creative developer assistance and their other multimodal fund grant. So in staff's recommendation is to approve this amendment, and we checked with the Montco 2040 Grant Review Committee, and they concurred with the recommendation to allow for the grant amendment.
Thank you. Is there a motion that the proper county officials, in accordance with the authority conferred by law, subject to the approval of the county solicitor, are hereby authorized to enter into an amended Montco 2040 Program Implementation Grant Agreement with Lower Moreland Township that will include the project narrative as outlined in the resolution?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Lawrence, second by Commissioner Gale. Ms. Holden, it looks like this is a much better project, actually, right? We're going from
think
the
so.
red line to the yellow line, correct?
Yes, that's right. The red dotted line was the original length of the 5-foot wide sidewalk, and this will be a 12-foot wide trail, and it'll include a mid-block crossing, a signalized mid-block crossing.
And so it sounds like they're bringing other funds to bear to get
Mm-hmm.
this done. Are we changing our financial commitment to this at all?
No,
Okay,
there's-
so this is a no-cost amendment for us.
Right, their project might go up in total cost, but our grant award remains the same, $97,250.
Great. Good. Any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, some municipal planning contracts.
All right. We have 2 community planning assistance contracts. These are 3-year contracts with Red Hill Borough and North Wales Borough. They are a 50-50 cost share whereby the Planning Commission provides technical planning services to our municipalities for a 3-year period. And the total of cost of Red Hill Borough is $45,738. The total cost of North Wales Borough is $74,844, and again, that's split equally between the 2 partners, the municipality and the county, over a 3-year period of time. For Red Hill Borough, we are working on an update to the revitalization plan, and so we'll continue that work and then work with them on implementation through grant applications and updating their zoning ordinances. In North Wales Borough, we recently, under the prior contract, finished their North Wales Comprehensive Plan, and we'll work with them on implementation through grant applications, updating their zoning and subdivision land development codes to reflect the comprehensive plan goals. We'll also provide general services as needed.
Thank you. Is there a motion that the proper county officials, in accordance with the authority conferred by law, subject to the approval of the county solicitor, are hereby authorized to approve the contracts for municipal planning assistance outlined below and as described by Ms. Holton?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lawrence. Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Beer, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. We're here today, the Public Defender's Office would like to submit a grant, a BJA grant, to do, to provide reentry services for codependent people in the jail. Reentry services including housing and support for them when they're released from Montgomery County Prison. It's a joint project along with many people in the criminal justice community, along with people outside the criminal justice community. We're seeking a commitment for 25% of the grant, which we do not know the number at this point. It's up to $1 million, but it would be a potentially 25% commitment from the county.
Okay. Is there a motion that the proper county officials, in accordance with the authority conferred by law, subject to the approval of the county solicitor, are hereby authorized to submit an application to the U.S. Department of Justice's Bureau of Justice Assistance for a Second Chance Act grant and to provide a 25% match to the grant award?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lawrence.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gale. So, Mr. Beer, just for some clarification.
Yes.
The total possible amount of the grant is $1 million.
Correct, over a 4-year period.
Okay. And so then the county's maximum exposure would be $250,000 over that 4-year
Correct.
period. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So that's really what we're voting on today. And we have to do this ahead of time.
Yes.
Because they won't accept the grant without our commitment that we will help provide our match. So
That is correct, Commissioner.
it's unusual that we vote without knowing the exact number, but these kinds of circumstances are a little bit different.
Thank you.
I just want to personally commend your office for taking on this type of work. I have been so struck when since I've been a commissioner at kind of the chasm between those re-entering and all of the public health services and other social services that are typically available to other members who have needs in our community. And I think bringing these two things together is critically important to reducing recidivism rates in our community. And I'm very supportive of this initiative. I intend to vote yes on this motion, and hope that these are the kinds of efforts that are going to really make a difference for people that have paid their debt to society, to help them get back on their feet and stay on their feet and not return to us. So kudos to you for exploring this.
Well, thank you. Let me just say, first of all, I appreciate the thank you, but I'm lucky to be up here today. This was really spearheaded by Keisha Hudson, who is our deputy chief in our office. She spearheaded this, and she's done the yeoman's work on this along with a number of other people. So I'm just a lucky recipient today to get the thanks, but I would say it goes to many other people, especially to Ms. Hudson in my office.
No, please pass along my thanks.
She was unable to be here today. She's out of the state.
Okay. Commissioner, same thing? Anything? Okay. Any public comment? Well, we do public comment. If you'd like to step up and make a comment, that's fine, but we don't do a Q&A.
Oh, okay.
But Mr. Beer would be happy to.
Maybe you can talk to me. I just
Afterward,
want to know
yeah.
what the criteria would be for the inmates being released with this program.
Yes, I'm sure he can, why don't you talk afterwards, because we
Okay.
don't, as you know, we don't typically do a Q&A. Yeah, thank you for your question. All right, any other public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now move on to a reappointment to the Montgomery County Housing Authority. Is there a motion that the Reverend Charles W. Kwan be reappointed to the Montgomery County Housing Authority for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023, and to serve at the pleasure of the County Commissioners and in accordance with the current duly adopted bylaws?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lawrence.
Second.
By Commissioner Gale. Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. And now an appointment to the Montgomery County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council. Is there a motion that Albert F. Davey be appointed as the paramedic at large to the Montgomery County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council to serve a term that is to expire on December 31st, 2021, and to serve at the pleasure of the County Commissioners and in accordance with the current duly adopted bylaws?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lawrence.
Second.
By Commissioner Gale. Any board comment? Any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Mr. Slotesiak, advertisements of bids.
Good morning. Yes, we have 3 advertisements. The first is a bid on behalf of Assets and Infrastructure for an equipment rental. The successful bidder will provide various types of service and/or equipment rentals on an as-needed basis for the Assets and Infrastructure Department. Number 2 is a bid on behalf of Public Safety for roof replacement at the Fire Academy. The successful bidder will replace the roof over the old Fire Academy building. A contract will be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder. And number 3 is a bid on behalf of Assets and Infrastructure for guide rail replacement and repairs for Bridge 185, Germantown Pike over 5 Mile Run Creek in East Nardin Township, and Bridge 199 on Germantown Pike over Saw Mill Creek in Plymouth Township. The successful bidder will provide the installation of guide rail, end treatments, bridge connections, and other associated work on the 2 noted bridges. And as a reminder, all RFPs and bids are available on the county's public purchase website at montcopa.org/purchasing.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the preceding request for advertisements of bids as described by the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Lee Slotesiak, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same, subject to the approval of the county solicitor?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lawrence. Second by Commissioner Gale. Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Awards of contract.
Yes, we have 14 items this morning. The first is a contract award for human resources. For commercial lines of insurance, the award goes to KMRD Partners, Inc. in the amount of $1,253,078. The contract provides for the authorization of the purchase of 21 commercial liability insurance policies for the term of 7/1/2019 through 6/30/2020. Number 2 is a contract award for the Law Library for subscription services. The award goes to LexisNexis in the amount of $57,072. The contract provides for the use of Lexis Advanced System for legal research by patrons of the Law Library. The services are proprietary, and the contract is a 4-year term beginning 8/1/2019. Number 3 is a contract award for public safety for software support. The award goes to Dell Inc. in the amount of $36,040.55. The contract provides for support for VMware software for the 911 computer-aided dispatch system. The contract is for a period of 7/12/2019 through 7/11/2020, and the software is available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 4 is a contract award for Assets and Infrastructure for the HSC CareerLink move. The award goes to S.J. Thomas Company, Inc. in the amount of $403,407. The contract provides for the construction services for the CareerLink move from New Hope Street to the Human Services Center on DeKalb Street. The construction services are available through a Keystone Purchasing Network contract. Number 5 is a contract award for ITS for hardware. The award goes to Lightspeed Inc. In the amount of $35,750. The contract provides for dual power supply units for the replacement of expired units at the courthouse data center. The equipment is available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 6 is a contract award for ITS for computer equipment. The award goes to CDW Government in the amount of $1,311,630. The contract provides for computer equipment and accessories for the purposes of replacing aging equipment. The spec was accessed by 73 providers with 5 responses received. The contract is awarded to the lowest responsible bidder who can fulfill all the requirements of the specification. Number 7 is an award for HHS for services, and the award goes to multiple providers in the amount of $2,103,600. The contract provides for in-home services for frail elderly residents of the greater North Penn area of Montgomery County on an as-needed basis. These services include home health, home support, and personal care as per the rates prescribed in the RFP. The RFP was accessed by 49 providers with 6 responses received. The contract is for a period of 1 year beginning 7/1/2019 with no renewals. The contracts are awarded to the highest rated providers. And the providers are Carlson Enterprises LLC, River Oaks Home Care, Seniors of Northern Chester County, and those are the 3. Number 8 is a contract amendment for Health and Human Services. For Crisis Services, the award goes to Horizon House Inc. in the amount of $30,000. The contract provides for adult mental health crisis services. The amendment provides for a 3-month extension for services for the period of 4/1/2019 through 6/30/2019. That will bring the contract coterminous with the HHS fiscal year. The amendment also provides for additional 5 optional annual renewals as a correction to the original RFP scope. And the revised contract value is for $90,000. Number 9 is a contract award for assets and infrastructure for integrated security systems in the amount of $15,000. The contract provides for security equipment at the Voter Services Warehouse, Mill Grove, and 1 Montgomery Plaza. The amendment provides for additional computer processing capacity for all locations and additional card reader and door operational hardware for 1 Montgomery Plaza. Number 10 is a contract amendment for the Planning Commission. The award goes to Bowles Smythe Associates, Inc. in the amount of $49,898.27. The contract provides for the engineering design of the Chester Valley Trail situated in Upper Marion Township, Bridgeport Borough, and the municipality of Norristown. The amendment provides for costs associated with additional geotechnical analysis required by PennDOT for 2 proposed retaining walls associated with the proposed trail bridge over South Gulf Road. And the amount, the contract is revised to $1,049,981.90. And then for the task force, we have 3 items: contract renewal for software. The award goes to Everbridge Inc. in the amount of $35,450. The contract provides for service and support for the Nexel Text to Enroll software program for the City of Philadelphia. The contract is for a period of 7/1/2019 through 6/30/2020, and services are available through a GSA contract. Number 2 is a contract award for a consultant. The award goes to EBA Engineering in the amount of $59,270. The contract provides for an update to Delaware County's GIS address points in order to have Delaware County's data fall in line with the regional counties in southeastern Pennsylvania. Services are available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 3 is a contract award for web services. The award goes to DLT Solutions LLC in the amount of $96,000. The contract provides for Amazon Gov cloud services for the countywide record management system for Montgomery County. Services are available through a U.S. Communities contract. And finally, number 4 is a contract amendment for electrical contracting work. The award goes to Lenai Electric Corporation, the amount of $1,462. The contract provides for electrical contracting services for the Montgomery County Public Safety Training Campus Drill Tower renovation. The amendment provides for a change in type of light fixture that will provide better illumination to the area. And that is all.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the preceding awards of contract as well as the contracts on behalf of the Southeast Pennsylvania Regional Task Force as described by the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Lee Soltesiak, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same, subject to the approval of the county solicitor?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lawrence.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gale. Any board comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Is there any general public comment today? Okay. Just please step up to the podium and introduce yourself. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mary Ann. I'm from Franconia Township, Montgomery County.
I'm sorry, ma'am, could you just give us your last name as well?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary Ann Wright.
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
Yeah. First, I'd like to congratulate the candidates that had advanced through the primary and onto the general election. This is my first appearance at a commissioners meeting, and it doesn't mean that I haven't been paying attention to what's going on in my county. I read the minutes and I watch the videos. Today, I would like to address two major issues involving the county. Commissioner Lawrence, as township resident and voter, I'm concerned about allegations made against you by Pauline Bracco. Character matters when electing government
Ms. Wright.
representatives.
Ms. Wright.
Ms. Braccio claimed that,
Ms. Wright, I'm gonna have to
that
stop
you
you there.
raped her. I would like to know if these are
One
true,
more
and if they are
opportunity.
not true, why
I'm gonna
haven't you
have to ask
publicly
security to come up
spoken out
with-
about them? I'm done. Solicitor Stein. I hold in my hand a letter from you, okay, addressed to her that I'd like to talk to you about. Okay.
Then I'd be happy to address that with you, but this is a limited public forum and for matters before the commissioners, matters that will either be on this agenda.
Well, this
or
is a
be voted on.
commissioners meeting because their names are on here.
But
Okay,
not
this is a
the
letter
discussion.
addressed.
I'm
And
happy
the
to
purpose of
discuss
public
this.
comment is to comment on matters that we would actually vote on as commissioners. This is not a matter that we would vote on as county
No, I don't
commissioners.
believe that's to be accurate, but this letter here is very concerning to me that
Ma'am.
you're trying to silence people that have
Ma'am,
their
I'm
First
not-
Amendment rights. The Sunshine Law was
All right, ma'am, I'm
violated
gonna cut you off
here.
here.
And it's really not fair that you're trying to silence me now.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. I'll speak to you. I'll be happy to speak to you after the meeting.
I don't need to speak to you after a meeting. This is very concerning to me. I mean, I want this letter incorporated in today's minutes. I want
Ma'am,
this
thank
part
you very
of the
much.
public comments,
I'm
okay?
gonna have to ask you to sit down.
So, this is what I want. Excuse me, this is mine.
Okay.
I want this left here. You can take it.
Here's your glasses.
Any other general public comment? Ms. McMahon?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Elaine Mickman. Okay. First, I'm just letting all of you know that it is very troubling that Commissioners Arcouche and Lawrence demonstrated hypocritical display on the court steps June 7th with the governor opposing guns, allegedly due to potential harm, while the commissioners are enabling harm to residents and their children who are being decimated and starved out by the court system and domestic relations not complying with the laws, but the commissioners continue to fund them. The commissioners' deliberate indifference can't be overstated. Regardless, that residents have reported what is a humanitarian crisis, which is defined as a series of events that are threatening in terms of health, safety, and or the well-being of a community or a large group. On April 18th and on May 30th, I was subjected to a hostile support master who demonstrated bias, favoring and enabling the wealthy deadbeat support obligor in my case when records prove he's defeating millions of dollars of child support and millions of dollars of IRS taxes. The support master denied me due process to present my case, submit my evidence, and prohibited my witness from presenting evidence. The master sequestered my witnesses, yet allowed the support obligor special and preferential treatment to participate by telephone without advance notice and where he could have had third parties listening. Special treatment has been institutionalized by domestic relations and the court, whereby there is no enforcement of the law. And the obligor in my case is not required to provide the required proof of income for calculating child support and relying on the obligor's hearsay for court orders. My ex-husband, he fled the USA and he stole my assets. It is inconceivable why the judges are siding with the deadbeat dad who makes millions of dollars a year unless somebody's being rewarded here. These are documents showing all the millions of dollars, but nobody's paying attention. These are all the taxes owed by the spouse, ex-husband, that the court is not using income for calculating child support. The commissioners are well aware of what's going on. These are letters. This is one of many letters sent to the commissioners. This is my support order for my child, which was terminated while he was a minor child, unemancipated, and a special needs child. Again, all the millions of dollars ex-husband's making, but none of this money's being used to consider for calculating child support, while all these people continue to get paid and are getting a nice big extra pension, because I saw that $1.6 million, which was extra revenue this last year, went into the pension fund. I filed a criminal complaint with attached evidence against the involved attorney who signed a sworn verification subject to criminal prosecution for perjury. Yet the DA's office, which is funded by the county, neglected to bring criminal charges against the politically connected attorney, regardless that a child's welfare is being endangered due to the attorney's perjury, and regardless that PA former Attorney General Kathleen Kane is imprisoned for perjury after being prosecuted by the Montgomery County for perjury, while others are getting free passes without any explanation other than selective prosecution in connection with pay for play. The county denied me promised rights guaranteed by the PA Constitution. They denied me equal protection of legislated law. And I'm calling and asking for reparations. Economic harm that was done to me and my children by the domestic relations, the court, and other county departments. The commissioners are remaining complicit and silent, and that's the equivalent of taking the fifth. We're taking the fifth. You're not commenting. I have come to these meetings many, many times. You're aware of what's going on. You're doing nothing. And I don't appreciate those, the face that you're making. If it was your children, you'd be singing a different tune.
Thank you, Ms. McMahon.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Pauline Bradshaw, Tomlinson Township. Good morning. Mr. Stein, the letter that you sent me
Ms. Braccio?
to...
As was discussed.
No, it's letterhead, and you signed it by
Ms. Braccio,
yourself.
I'm going to give you one other opportunity.
And,
We've been over this before. If you wanted, your comments must
you know
be
what?
limited
You
to...
don't ever contact me until the day of the meeting. You did that on
All
May
right,
6th,
Ms. Braccio.
so I was not able to
I'm going to have to ask you to sit
get
down
there.
if you're not going to limit your comments to matters before
I got the
this board.
police report.
All right. Thank you,
You
Ms.
know what?
Braccio.
I'm going to finish speaking.
No, Ms.
I got
Braccio.
the police report from Cheltenham Police Department. This applies,
Ms.
okay?
Braccio.
And it says that
Ms. Braccio,
I
thank you
left
very much.
without incident, okay? Now, you have contacted
Ms.
me
Braccio,
before.
you've been, we've discussed this in the past.
No, we haven't discussed it, okay? I don't get a
This
private
isn't the
meeting
place
with
to
you.
discuss it.
Well, yeah, it is, actually. Yes, it is, okay? Robbie, you have your opinion, I have mine.
Ms. Braccio.
Okay,
it's-
what I want to say is,
Ms.
last
Braccio.
thing is, the police department, do not touch my stuff.
Take a
The
seat, or we're
police
going to
department, hold on.
No.
The police department did not
Come on.
include the fact that I handed them the real reason why you banned me
Ms.
from that
Braccio,
meeting,
please do not
which
require to
was
have you removed
that
from the
I handed them my statement that is notarized that Ken Lawrence raped me.
Ms.
I-
Braccio,
Hey.
I'm going to have...
Come on.
Get off of
Pauline.
me and get my stuff. Yeah, it's a public meeting. Would you believe that?
Please have a seat.
Give me my
Please.
stuff.
Okay, have a seat.
I'm calling for the
will.
resignation of the three of you. The liar who pretended to be a judge, the rapist, and the woman who defends the rapist. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, any closing commissioners' comments?
Yeah, I'm going to make a comment. To Ms. Wright, since you asked, the allegation is completely false. It did not happen.
Okay. With that, I will announce that our next meeting is July 11th, 2019. I want to make a special note that July's meeting is on the both of July meetings have been switched. They are the second and the fourth Thursday in July because of the Independence Day holiday, which falls on the first Thursday when we would normally have our meeting. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn the June 20th, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Lawrence, second by Commissioner Gale. Any board comments, public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Any negative votes? Meeting is adjourned. And we'll call to order Salary Board. Mr. Landauer. Good morning. Morning, Ms. Pardue.
Good morning, members of Salary Board. You should have in front of you the final copy of the Salary Board list. It is a 3-page document dated Wednesday, June 19th, 2019, with a timestamp of 12:56 p.m. All positions have been reviewed and accounted for and are presented for Salary Board consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the June 20th, 2019 Salary Board presentation as given by Director of Human Resources, Ms. Donna Pardue, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Landauer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Lawrence. Any board comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Is there any general public comment pertaining to Salary Board? Ms. McMahon. Actually, is this considered a separate
So
meeting?
this is
Okay,
this is
so
only
Ms.
about salary
McMahon,
board.
you may come to the podium and you have 2 minutes. But it must be related to somebody on this salary board because this is the action that is before
I'm
us.
just objecting in general to their salaries because of what's going on. The county's not, nobody in this entire county is complying with laws. They're abusing their power and authority with their jobs.
Thank you. Any other general public comment pertaining to salary board? All right. Then, is there... Ms. Braggio.
Yes, Pauline Braccio with in Talmadge Township. And I agree that Joshua Stein is abusing his position
Okay, Ms.
and
Braggio,
acting
this
as
has
a
nothing to do with
judge.
salary board.
Well, yeah, why is he getting a salary?
Salary board is about the people who are being hired or promoted or retiring. So you must direct your comments to this.
Okay, well, I think they should all be fired.
Thank you.
How's that?
All right, any other public comment? All right, is there a motion to adjourn the June 6, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Salary Board?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Landauer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lawrence. Any board comment? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.